Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the NBA Front Office Show. The Suns have a new owner. We're going to talk a little bit about that, plus a number of other NBA stories to dive into. I'm Trevor Lane. You can find me on Twitter at Trevor_Lane, joined by Keith Smith at Keith Smith NBA. Keith, we are getting closer and closer to those Christmas Day games. Should be a lot of fun. I don't know. We're hitting that point. It's kind of like the summer where we look at things and we say, well, we're only a month away, and it feels like it's close, but then also not close. I'm kind of feeling like that with Christmas right now. Like it's coming up on Sunday, but we also got to wait till Sunday.
Yeah, I'm feeling a little different. I am like, holy crap, Christmas is 5 days away, and I still have these 15 things I need to do. So I'm okay if it drags a little bit, especially if that dragging somehow magically comes with a couple more hours in each day, then we'd be good. But yeah, no, I'm excited. It's one of those things too where my routine is off because our daughter is home from school, so I'm not doing the school drop-offs and pickups and all that stuff. So it's just a little out of routine, which is not where I tend to thrive, but it's okay. Well, we're going to get through it and have a little bit of fun this weekend.
That's right. We're doing the same thing here around the Lane household. But big story to come out today was that the Suns finally sold over $4 billion. It's going to be the reported purchase price to Matt Ishbia, who is in the mortgage industry. This is big for Phoenix. Now you've got Robert Sarver on the way out. Of course, everything has to finalize and all of that. And that's going to take some time. But Robert Sarver on the way out, new ownership group coming in, could mean good things in Phoenix if they're willing to spend, and could open things up a bit on the trade front too. I know we've talked about are the Suns in a position to take on long-term salary when you're trying to sell the team and all of that. So could add some certainty in terms of trying to get deals done too.
Yeah, a lot of that depends on just how quickly this all goes through. Because news breaks today, it's not as simple as he writes a check and he's the
just
new
hand
owner
over
of
a
the
check
Suns.
and it's fine.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be a while. There's a whole approval process. The board of governors will have to vote. Presumably, it will get approved and we'll move through. Generally, we don't even get to this phase unless we're certain this guy's going to get through. So we'll see. But yeah, great news for the Suns and Suns fans. We'll see where it goes. There's a lot of rumors in the business world. He's a mortgage guy, as is Dan Gilbert of the Cavs, and apparently they do not like each other at all in that side of their profession. So that will be interesting to see how that all plays out in the world of the NBA. And if they're Phoenix and Cleveland playing twice a year, that's probably going to be a little hard to get a real rivalry going, but we'll see if anything spills over with that. He's a basketball guy. He played at Michigan State. He was a walk-on with the Spartans, won a national championship there. So clearly a basketball guy. It's something he knows and is passionate about. So going to be very, very interesting to see what happens with the Suns. And obviously, anytime there's going to be a new owner, there's going to be a sense of, are they good with the status quo? Do they want to change things up as far as the front office goes? And then that will filter down, obviously, to coaches and players and all that sort of stuff. So a lot of stuff coming for the Suns. But overall, I would say with everything they've gone through with Robert Sarver, this sounds like it's pretty good news for Suns fans.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Bad news for the Bulls. A report came out today from Shams Charania about a disconnect between Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan. Now, things have not gone well for the Chicago Bulls this season. It's one of the reasons why we've been keeping an eye on them as a team that could potentially pivot into being a seller prior to the February 9th trade deadline. But now you're getting a report like this saying that their guys just aren't on the same page. Does this push them closer to being one of those sellers, or is this kind of a batten down the hatches, circle the wagons, and we ride this thing out? What do the Bulls do from here with these kinds of stories coming out of Chicago?
Yeah, I think there's kind of two parts to this story, really three. The first is the LaVine and DeRozan dynamic. Now, the report says they are still get along great. It's just they can't figure out how to make it work on the court. Not solely unsurprising, right? Two wings who need the ball a lot to be very successful. That can be very hard to work out, especially where they don't have that point guard right now. Lonzo Ball, who's their organizer and can kind of keep the ball moving and make sure everybody's involved. Alex Caruso is a very good player, but that's just not what he does. So that's I think a little bit of a challenge for Chicago as far as getting those two guys. And when you watch them play, it does feel a little bit like it's a lot of your turn, my turn on who's going to facilitate and run the offense. Now, the second part is in this report is LaVine is having struggles with Chicago, the franchise, and really is not seemingly unhappy with the direction there. Now, that's tough because this guy just signed a 5-year max contract this offseason. So, one, you don't want to be in that position as you start, this new deal. But also for the Bulls, is this LaVine saying, "Hey, I want to see some changes made, and here it is because I'm here long term"? Is this going to turn into I want out of here and I'm signed long term? And then that leads into the third thing, which you kind of hinted at, is what do you do? The problem with Chicago is I've seen some people say, you're closer to Wembanyama than you are to anything else. But they have a top 4 protected pick. Anything outside of the top 4 goes to the Orlando Magic from the Nick Vucevic trade. And that starts to become kind of tricky to work around unless you're really certain you can bottom out and get into that top 3. Even then, you're a little worried because all it takes is 1 or 2 teams to jump up, and now you're pushed back to 5, and now you're entirely out of a pick, and you've handed Orlando a very good pick. So Chicago's in a tough spot. They've definitely got some decisions to be made. That said, if you can pick up really good assets and trade for some of your veteran players, it might not be the worst thing to say, "Hey, we tried. This looked good for a few months, and now we're struggling a little bit. We got to work around some stuff with Lonzo and his contract, and maybe we'll see about getting him back on the court, but we think we can rebuild this on the fly." Then maybe that's what you do.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the standings, Chicago right now is in the 11th seed in the Eastern Conference, but they have 11 wins on the season, and that's we tend to look at that column more than the loss column when we're looking at the tanking teams, just the wins. 11 wins on the season. Charlotte has 8, Detroit has 8, Houston has 9, San Antonio has 10. So, I mean, and right now you've got a number of teams with 11 wins. You get the Wizards, you get the Magic as well. So there is a little bit congested there. But even if you do everything you can to really bottom out, there's no guarantee that you're going to lose more than the Hornets, more than the Pistons, more than the Rockets, these teams are not trying to win either right now. Organization, I guess we should clarify that, because players always try to win, but organizationally they're not trying to. So let's say that you are the Bulls and you finish with the 4th worst record. You have a less than 50% chance of landing in the top 4 and keeping your own pick. Like that's not great odds. If I'm the Orlando Magic, I'm hoping that the Bulls try to tank and then that it goes away with the 5th pick, right?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, that's the thing that's tough. It's sounds great to put those protections on picks because it sounds really good. Of like, all right, well, we're still protected if we can get at one of these generational guys in the draft, and that part is great. But the next part that comes around is, well, then if you don't, where does it go? And the unfortunate thing for Chicago is, and let me make sure I've got this right with them, but that'll roll over a year if they don't get it settled this year. Then it rolls over to top 3 protected, and then it goes. So that starts to become the very tricky part. Now, on top of that, they owe a future first to San Antonio from the DeRozan sign and trade as well. So that is also going to be hanging out there. So when you have a couple future firsts, it's not quite as easy as just, all right, bottom this thing out and let's go, when it is there, unless you really feel like you go the other way and it's like, hey, we can make this team very, very good and we'll deliver a pick in the teens or 20s, and then we're free and clear of that obligation and off we go. But right now, as it stands, that's not where this is looking for the Bulls. So they've got some really difficult decisions to make because it's beyond that. It's, all right, Nikola Vucevic, are you locked into we're going to re-sign him or are we going to let him go? And if you're going to let him go, are you going to lose him for nothing or do you want to trade him? And at least he's not going to give you back a massive return, but at least get something back that's kind of decent. So those are all the questions that they're going to ask themselves here. And there's really only a month and a half to make those decisions coming down the line.
Yeah, not an easy spot to be in. And that's again why, the Bulls, the Hornets, 2 teams that we're keeping really a very close eye on. The Wizards as well, throw them into the mix in terms of teams that could really pull the plug and go into a full tank mode. But we'll have to see ultimately what they do. Again, a lot of complicating factors there, especially for Chicago.
You mentioned the Wizards. I just want to chime in here.
Yeah,
I said on yesterday's show I was going to write about Kyle Kuzma and his contract situation.
you
That
did.
is now posted on Spot Track. If anybody wants to read, I wrote about basically why he won't do an extension, and then what he could be looking at is along with some proposals for deals that I think would make a lot of sense for Kuzma either to re-sign with the Wizards on or another team. So that is out there for all to read. You can find that on my timeline.
Yep, I retweeted that as well. Always, it was a blind retweet because I knew it was going to be fantastic. Keith, I just said Keith did something. I'm retweeting that. I know it's going to
I
be
appreciate that.
Let's get into some unfortunate news. Chuma Okeke is going to be out for a month with knee surgery. It's that time of year when you start to get these injuries just popping up, and man, a month to miss a month at this stage of the season can be so disruptive for a team and for a player as well, for the rhythm, because then you're out, you've just kind of got everything going, you're into the thick of it, and now you're out, and then you got to get back into rhythm before the end of the season, and that can be difficult to do.
Yeah, in the case for the Magic and OKK, this is tough because this is another year where he's missing some time. Now, if we remember, he tore his left ACL in the NCAA tournament, where he was probably going to be somewhere around a top 5 pick, slipped to the middle of the draft. The Magic got him. He sat out that entire year. They didn't even sign him. They waited, let him rehab, and then they signed him so that they weren't going to basically miss a full year under contract while he rehabbed. I think that was also a condition of, hey, we'll draft you, at this spot in the first round if you'll wait to sign. And then where we went from there was he went into looked kind of okay his rookie year, looked better the second year. And this year he's had some struggles finding rhythm. You could tell at times the knee was bothering him. They went in, did some cleanup. It sounds like it was one of those standard go in, clean up the knee, try to get this guy back. Now for Orlando's side of it, they've got a million forwards already that they're at times struggling to find minutes for. Presumably sometime in the next, I don't know, month, we may see Jonathan Isaac play again and play for the first time in 2+ years for him. So we'll see what that looks like. But we're getting there with Orlando as far as they're playing better. They've got some guys, but it does suck to have a guy out when it's there were minutes there for him for sure, and now there's not going to be, and he's just going to have to kind of figure it out and get back whenever it is that he can.
Yeah, that's all you're going to be able to do at this point. Tough blow for the Orlando Magic. Well, but I mean, the Magic, they're not worried necessarily about winning games right now anyway, but
they are to an extent. This run where they won 6 straight gave them a little bit of, all right, hey, if we can get some of our guys, maybe we can make a run at the play-in. And because they're sitting on that Bulls pick, it is a little bit of, hey, we could maybe kind of let them do the job for us if they fall far enough. But yeah, they're not pushing overly hard by any means.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Maybe you let the Bulls tank for you. We'll see. Kind of cool story here. Damian Lillard becomes the Blazers' all-time leading scorer. Is he the best Portland Trail Blazer ever? Is he the greatest Blazer ever, I guess I should say?
Yeah, I think so. Bill Walton didn't play there long enough, unfortunately, and then Clyde Drexler was for a long time, but I think Damian Lillard's length of career there now, the length of time he's been a Blazer, all the things he's done for that franchise can see. No, he's never gotten them to the finals like Drexler did, but he's had them close, a couple times, and they've been pretty consistently a winning team during his tenure there. So yeah, I think so. And this is, just one of those cool things we want to make sure we recognize, because it's not every day somebody becomes a franchise's all-time leading scorer. And and it's Portland. This isn't a team that's been around for 10 years. Like if you're the Charlotte Hornets in this iteration's all-time leading scorer or something. This is a Blazers team that's been around for a long time. So that's a really cool accomplishment for Dan.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic stuff for him, and a cool moment for the Blazers. We don't know what the future is going to hold for them. Does Damian Lillard wind up finishing his career in Portland? It feels like we've been having this discussion for 5 years now at least. But whatever the future holds, he's always going to mean a lot to that team and that franchise. And personally, I'm kind of rooting for him to stay and for them to figure it out with him there and not have him jump to another team, just because it's such a rarity these days for a player to spend their entire career with one franchise. I'd like to see it happen there for Portland.
Yeah, I would too. And, I know people were always like, "We got to save Dame and get him out of there." And I just look
Yeah.
at it as like, "Hey, he's happy to be there and be a good, on good teams consistently, year over year. He doesn't feel like he needs to leave." So yeah, I don't know why we're in a spot where it's hey, we gotta get this guy out of here. I think they're fine.
Yeah. Yep. Agreed. All right. Before we go today, Keith, I've been listening to a bunch of Christmas songs today. I've been in the spirit, been doing some stuff around the house and all of that. Went out running some errands and doing all that kind of stuff. Favorite Christmas song? What is
That's
it?
a tough one.
Is it the Mariah Carey song that everybody
No, it is
hears
not.
all the time?
I don't have anything particularly against that song, but that is not it. I would say for like a more traditional, I enjoy very much Silent Night. For
Mhm.
more fun, I'm a big Jingle Bells guy. I like Jingle Bells, so I'll run with that.
Okay.
My
Jingle Bells
wife is
is
giving me the most confused look on her face right now.
she's like, "What are you talking about? That is a basketball show, and you're talking about Jingle Bells." So for me, I'm one of those people. I guess there's probably not that many of us these days, but I like all the punk covers of classic
All
songs and
right.
things like that. And my wife thinks I'm crazy. She doesn't particularly care for any of those, and so she hates it when I put that stuff on. But in any event, The Offspring did a cover of Christmas, "Baby Please Come Home" in
Yes,
parentheses.
I know that song.
It's a really good cover, and I discovered it this year. I know it wasn't recorded this year, but I discovered it this year, and so that one has been in my rotation quite a bit, and I've definitely been enjoying that. So I think that's currently at the top of my list right now.
When I was working in an office job, they played Christmas music throughout the building, and they would play quite often, especially in the like behind areas of the building, the non-public areas. That they would play that "Baby It's Cold Outside" song.
Mhm.
It's kind of a dirty song
It
when you
is
get
when you
down
when
to
you
it. Yeah,
actually listen to the
yeah.
lyrics
After
and stuff.
hearing it like 100 times one Christmas season over and over and over again, I was like, this song's a little dirty. Like that's and I'd heard it a million times before in my life, but it was kind of one in one ear out the other. And yeah, hearing it repeatedly in a short period of time, I was like, yeah, this song it doesn't necessarily send the best message, but hey, it was
You're like,
written a million years ago.
it's like,
So
wait, you put something in her drink? Like
yeah,
what is happening here?
right, yeah, very very odd behavior going on there.
Yep,
So
yep.
but
And then there's the
I don't
duet
know.
singing it in the movie Elf.
Yes,
I'm like,
absolutely.
"Ooh,
Our
okay."
daughter's soccer club just did a big Christmas event where they rented one of those big inflatable movie screens,
Oh,
and
nice.
all the kids went out there and watched Elf together and had a great time. So,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
fantastic.
it was really good. I stayed home and watched the Boston Celtics lose to the Orlando Magic at home.
I'm
So,
sure you were glad that you did that.
yeah, I think they had a better time than I did last Friday night. But it is what it is. 'Tis the
That's
season.
right. That's right. That's right. All right, everybody. Appreciate you for joining us. Why don't you chime in? Let us know what your favorite Christmas
Absolutely.
song is. If you have one, let us know in the comment section over here on the YouTube channel. If you're listening to the podcast version of this, make sure over on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever it is that you listen to podcasts, you leave us that rating and review. We sure do appreciate it. Till next time, everybody. See ya and stay safe.